Oh, that's a lot better this week. Who needs strikers when you've got right backs to pop in the goals? How you're doing? Welcome back to Where Pompey Walk. We're, of course, looking back on that brilliant win over Millwall. We've got Jake, Sam and Sasha back with us. We're also talking about the letter G in our A to Z. Who's the dodgiest goalkeeper that's ever played for Pompey? Why is the Opta Computer got it in for Pompey? And, yeah, who was our man of the match in that win against Millwall? Lots to get into. Hope you're doing well. If you've just come across the channel, please hit us a sub and a like below. It would make our day. Jake, that's a lot better, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. we've had a terrible run of form. It was desperately needed. I think we've spoken in the last couple of weeks how the fan base was starting to get a little bit divided with owners and managers, and we can all just breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. We've got a win. We've got a win at home as well, which is brilliant. A good performance to go along with it, and yeah, just thank God that happened.
Yeah. Were Millwall that bad, or were Pompey that good, Jake? Just staying with you.
They were poor. I did think they were poor. But I've always got to give us some credit. I think it helped Murphy. Although Murphy's obviously been back for a few games now, I think he looked properly 100% fit. Whereas before, I think we were sort of like easing him back in, and he didn't quite look himself, and that made a massive difference. I think he got the team right. You got to give Messina some credit as well. He made some big calls, put in Kuznovsky in. I think he got it spot on. So yeah, good all round.
Excellent, good to hear. And no Messina ouch tags this week, which is always good to see. Sasha, I'll ask you which one is your favourite of the 3 goals, because I know which one you're going to say. But yeah, where were you sat when that screamer went in? Are you that end or?
Well, I'm in the north stand, so I've got the long side view. So I got a good view of all 3 goals, and I honestly couldn't pick a favourite. They were all really, really good goals. All goal of the season contenders, honestly.
Who impressed for you then? Who should come out with player of the match?
There's a few. I thought Devlin was brilliant as always. Lang came on and made a big difference. Murphy, like Jake said, he's had a full international break to regain fitness, and you can see it's paid off. He played brilliantly. Yeah, there's multiple players you can give it to. I'd probably say I'd give it to Devlin, just because he's been brilliant recently.
Is that been? I mean, you've all said over the last couple of weeks, Sam, that the issue has been injured players. You've got Schmidt back in goal now, Murphy getting back to fitness. Segajic was impressive as well. When you've got a fully fit 11, there's not going to be any danger of relegation talk here, is there?
No, I don't think so. Although I think we can still agree that this year's squad is still weaker than last year's. However, when we're all fully fit and raring to go, I would say that we're a mid to low table side team. But yeah, definitely the injuries coming back and helping us. Chaplin showed glimpses of his old self as well in that game as well, which was encouraging to see. So yeah, it was much needed, and it mirrors what we had last season, where it was around about this time of the year where we started having some good results and start shooting up the table. So,
is it harsh on Bursic, Jake, that Schmidt just walks straight back in?
He's done well, but I think when you've got someone with the quality that Schmidt's got, he's been called up by Austria. He's an international goalkeeper, so if he's fit, he's our number one, and he goes straight back in. I can see why he's done that.
The fixtures this week: Sasha, Sheffield United away, of course, and then Bristol City at home. You're just catching 2 teams just at the wrong time as they're starting to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, they've both just won 3-0, haven't they? So it is the worst time to play them, but we've seen it every week in the Championship for however many seasons that anyone can really beat anyone in this league. I mean, look at Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday right down at the bottom. They've got 3 wins between them, and 2 of them are against us, and we've beaten Borough. So honestly, anything could happen. I would be just as surprised with 6 points as I would be with 0, honestly.
Okay. We're not bashing the Bishop this week on here, Sam, but how did he do? Are we seeing him come back to the Bishop of last year?
is better than previous games. I think he got a couple shots. So he's getting there. It's just, I think it's the service, but January definitely we need to invest in a striker, and that's going to be tough because we all know what it's like to buy a striker in January. But we definitely need someone as a suitable backup for him, if not to replace him. But yeah, he definitely did play better.
Let us know your thoughts, of course, in the comments below. Thank you for all your comments on last week's as well as video. We had lots of people, Jake, shouting us out last week saying leave Messinho alone, and just to clarify, nobody on here, if you watch the whole video, was saying Messinho out. All we're doing is highlighting that it's becoming on Twitter a bit of a joke that fans were. Where are your friends when you chat in the pubs about the manager's position now? Yes, a good win yesterday was probably going to quiet them down, but do you feel that there's a growing unease?
I think it was just some decisions, some in-game decisions, some substitutions he made, maybe some team selections that some people were starting to question. I don't think any of us on here, or really many Pompey fans around, wanted Messinho out. I know there was a couple of comments on Twitter, but they were the minority. I think people just for the first time were starting to question, is he making the right decisions in game? Is he making the right team selection? I think that's all it was. But obviously, if you win games, that noise quietens right down. So we go on a bit of a run now. And no one will be saying Messinho out on Twitter.
Okay. Right. This week, or between the group then, between the break, the Opta Supercomputer has had its say on who's going up and who's going down. Sasha, I don't know if you've seen this, but they've said that there's a 31% chance that Pompey drop, and actually when they've put the whole table together, they've predicted that Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, your good selves are the three that will drop. This isn't just some random geek on Twitter with his AI out. This is Opta. What do you reckon?
It's a computer. What does it know? At the end of the day, if you spoke to us a few weeks ago, that was very much a possibility that it would be us three that were to go down. We were the three poorest sides in the league, probably. But, we're only 6 points away now from top half of the table. We're much closer to the playoffs, I think, than we are to the bottom three. Maybe that's different now that Sheffield United have won. But, it's so early on in the season. You've got a whole window in between, and, everyone's still got to play each other. I'm not going to listen to it. I'll look at the table at the end of January, and if we're still down where we are now, then maybe the computer knows something I don't know. But until then, it's talking out of its arse.
Brilliant. Right, if you haven't been watching, we've been doing the A to Z of Pompey over the last couple of weeks. We're up to the letter G, so stay tuned for that. We're looking for the best player or event or something which connects the letter G to Pompey. We'll get your views on all of that in a second. But in the tradition of that, we're also, of course, talking about goalkeepers this week. Not the good ones, though, the dodgy ones. Who's the worst goalkeeper that you've had in the sticks at Fran Park? Sam, can you kick this off?
One that stands out completely, Yoshi Kawaguchi. Japanese goalkeeper, he was pretty bad. Absolutely gentle soul. He was great. He was totally innocent player. I remember getting his autograph actually on a program, and he was just such a nice guy, but awful goalkeeper. Who else? We had that Greek. It fits with the G. We had that Greek goalkeeper one time. I forget his name. Maybe Jake will remember his name. Sasha might be a little bit too young for that, but he was in our Premier League days, and he was a Greek goalkeeper, and he was terrible as well. It was a January signing, and he was absolutely terrible. Can't remember his name now. Maybe Jake will remember, but he was pretty bad.
Well, that's good to Jake then.
Yeah, he was going to be my choice. Kostas Choukias was his name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and he was awful. He couldn't catch a cold. He also played in the derby against them, not up the road, and chucked a couple in. So he didn't help his cause there. He's absolutely the worst we've seen. I did notice actually one thing I will say is in the comments last week, Teresa pointed out Aaron Verhaven in the A to Z. who was a Pompey goalkeeper previously, and he would have been Pompey's number one for years to come if he didn't unfortunately pass away. So yeah, great shout out from Teresa in the comments. But yeah, talking about bad goalkeepers, definitely Chelsea, yes.
Cool. Sasha?
Yeah, it's difficult for me. I didn't see either of those two keepers play, so my scope is a lot more narrow. The one that sticks in my mind straight away when you talk about rubbish goalkeepers is Ryan Schofield. He didn't play much for us, but when he did, oh my, he was terrible. I remember one time I managed to convince my dad to go to a Checkatrade Trophy game, Leasingcon, whatever you want to call it. Right, he refuses to go to any of them games unless it's the semi-final or final. And I convinced him, please, it's AFC Wimbledon at home. We'll win like 6-0. We'll go home happy. Ryan Schofield conceded 5 goals. Every single one of them was his fault. And my dad will never, ever take me to a Checkatrade Trophy game again. Yeah.
Right. I'd say who have they forgotten in the comments, but I think you've comprehensively covered lots of different decades there between the three of you. Brilliant. Right, and just a massive thank you to everyone who is commenting. We've got some lovely comments on here that Teresa and others, as Jake has mentioned, about this. There's loads of other good Pompey podcasts, but if you can just squeeze 15 minutes of your week to give us a listen. Yeah, the good and the bad and the ridiculous. We're up to the A to Z now of letter G. Who have you got, Sasha, this week?
I tried to think of a player, and I couldn't think of anyone whose last name began with G. But
Okay.
for me,
That's the rules.
I've got 2 players whose first names begin with G, and both in my eyes are legends. That is Gareth Evans and Gary Roberts. Both were with us when we were down in League 2. Both got promoted with us. And Gareth Evans had that iconic moment down at Southsea Common where he had a few to drink and he started singing about scummers. So that will always stick in my mind. And Gary Roberts was one of those players that always put in a really good performance, scored some really good goals, was inevitable in us getting promoted, and he was Paul Cook's man. And very, very fond memories of Gary. And I met with him not too long ago, and yeah, he's a great guy, really funny as well.
You'll have to save our for about April time when we get to that letter, I'm afraid, mate. Jake?
This was the first one I had a bit of difficulty with, but I've got Avram Grant when he managed Pompey. He took us to the Cup Final 2010, and that was when we were going through all sorts of like financial difficulties. And he did a speech on the pitch at the end of the season, and it was like almost like I had goosebumps just talking about the Pompey fans and how great they were. So I'll give him a mention. The only other one I could think of was goals, because we still got the record for the highest number of goals in the Premier League game against Reading, where we beat them 7-4. So yeah. Avram Grant and goals, that's all I've got for G.
Okay. Sam?
I've got Great Escape, 2006-2007 season when we were pretty much relegated at Christmas, and then Harry came back, and then it all started with the game against Man City where Pedro Mendes scored absolutely 2 screamers, and the scenes at Fratton Park were absolutely biblical when those goals went in. It was one of my favorite memories at Fratton Park ever when that second goal went in and we won. It was so amazing. So yeah, Great Escape for me was that. And then we won last day of the season at Wigan, and Matty Taylor scored, and he ran all the way down the length of the pitch to the Pompey fans, and yeah, it was just amazing. And then that's kind of started our years of success there in the Premier League, and then obviously it all fell apart. But yeah, Great Escape for me.
Yeah, that Pedro Mendes goal. My dad went on holiday and he missed that Man City game, and they still talk about it now. He's still in the pub and in the ground now. He still gets ripped for missing them 2 goals and being away. So yeah,
I would have loved.
Great
I would
shout.
I would have loved to have seen the conversation, because we signed David James the next season, and I would have loved to have seen the conversation between David James and Pedro Mendes. Just like that interaction of be like, that worldie you scored against me was absolutely amazing. Because David James just watched it go in, because 2, maybe even 3 goalkeepers couldn't have stopped that one of those goals. It was amazing.
Cool. Right, I think Great Escape then gets into our A to G. Thanks so much, thanks, Sam. Unless we've completely dropped one here in the comments, you know what to do. Let us know. We give these a shout out next week. We're up to H next week. So join us, of course, for that. And we're looking back, of course, how Pompey have got on at Bramall Lane on this coming Tuesday night, and of course against Bristol City on Saturday. Join us for that. Thank you very much for your company. Great to have you on board with us. See you. Have a great week, everyone.